De laatste dag hier op de Gamescom hebben we een fantastische mogelijkheid om gewoon niemand minder dan skatelegende Tony Hawk eens even een aantal vragen te stellen. Tony Hawk zit hier naast me, dus laten we maar gelijk gaan beginnen. Hi Tony, thanks that you would join us for the interview. First of all, could you tell us how you've been together with Activision for many years? How've been the collaboration between you as a skater and the franchise as games? How did it work out? How was it for you?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, my partnership with Activision has literally changed my life. You know, it provided me all kinds of new opportunities, and we got to work on games and develop them as the consoles got better and better. And I learned so much doing it, and I'm happy that we get to come back and re-release our, some of the best stuff from our first couple of games, but in the new technology.
Okay. The franchise, through all these years, it started with Tony Hawk 1. Of course, it's a pretty small game, but it grew and grew, and it's a huge franchise nowadays. How does it feel to be part of something that started once a day, and that is this time everybody knows what Tony Hawk Pro Skater is?
I'm really proud of it. I think, our first game, we thought that it was going to be somewhat of an experiment and something that I knew that skaters would appreciate. I knew that the skaters would like the authenticity of it, and maybe it would inspire them to go get a game system so they could play it. And that's really the extent of what I thought the success would be. I knew it was a fun game to play, but skateboarding wasn't established enough to warrant thinking that we would make a big franchise or a sporting genre of a game.
Yeah. And did you ever see it coming that it was going to get this big?
No, I didn't believe that it was as big as it was until probably around the third game or the fourth game. I think on the fourth game, that's when it hit me. Like, this is way bigger than it ever could imagine.
Yeah. Well, the first 4 games was mainly about skating, just skating, and after that it went more like the Jackass style. You could get
it went more of a storyline for sure through those times, and definitely there was a Jackass element to it because we had BAM involved so heavily. But I thought those were really fun games too. We still had the same mechanics. You could still do the same tricks, the same things. It just gave you different challenges.
Right. But after after I guess just part 8 or something, reality get back more to the franchise with real skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
But after few Tony Hawk Shreds, if I say it correctly, the franchise bit stopped. How did that come? Why did it stop?
Well, I think by the time that we released Shred, and we had a lot of we were up against a lot doing Ride just with peripherals in general, and then when we did Shred, I feel like we finally refined the mechanics of it, and the playing was exactly what I wanted it to be, what I had hoped Ride would be, but by the time we released it, the peripherals were going away. It was more about motion control, like Connect and things like that. So it was bad timing for that release, for sure. And so, we had to take a break and decide what are we going to do. And even before we released Ride, I wanted to do a remake of our first 2 games. And I encouraged Activision to actually do that. In the 2 years that it took to develop Ride, I encouraged them to release a best of. I actually said best of 1 through 4, but they thought the time frame was too tight to make it, and that it was too rushed. And if we were going to do it, it should be something special. And we waited. And so I was happy that we did. I trusted their advice on that for sure.
Yeah, I've played it for many hours the past few weeks, and it's just brilliant.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And but is there more coming?
We have more downloadable content with levels from games 3 and 4 as well. And if all goes as planned, we are going to do new levels that no one has seen before.
And what do you think about a completely HD makeover of the first game? Just only the first game?
I think we're kind of past that now because we've done we've already done the first 2, but perhaps we can go back and revisit other levels from the first one that we haven't done yet.
And the first one is out for Xbox, and it's coming to PlayStation 3 very soon. You're working on DLC right now, but are there any plans to do more with HD remakes in the near future?
Well, this is what we're going for. We've set the foundation with the first release, and then to be able to add DLC to that, I think is a whole new idea for franchise games, because there haven't been many big franchise games that have went to download only. But I'm excited that we've done it and that we've proven it works.
It worked, absolutely. Yeah. It's great. How do you see the future of the Tony Hawk franchise as it continues?
Well, I'd like to see this go as far as we can with this idea. Beyond that, maybe we go into a different type of game that's motion controlled, but more just body motion control as opposed to, a skateboard peripheral.
It could be fun.
It could be fun, yeah. It's a different crowd that does that, though. I learned through all this is that it's a whole different audience.